If you're a workaholic and struggling to find work-life balance, this video is for you. In my younger years, excelling at work was proof to myself and others of my ability and self-worth. Now that I've had more life experiences, including becoming a parent, I have a different perspective about work. I want to share with you 8 practical tips to strike a better work-life balance. These habits have worked well for me so far, so I hope they can also help you. 1. Practice deep work and batching. According to Dr. Earl Miller, a neuroscientist at MIT, switching between tasks can cost up to 40% of your productivity. Instead, implement focused blocks of time for deep work to pump out the important tasks and batch time-consuming tasks into specific times of the day. This can help you minimize the switching time between different types of work. I learned this method in the book The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, where he says the lack of time is actually a lack of priorities. We follow 2 synergistic methods to increase productivity. One is Pareto's Law, which is to limit tasks to the important ones to shorten work time, such as focusing on that business proposal. The other method is Parkinson's Law, which is to shorten work time to limit tasks to the important ones, such as minimizing your email browsing time so you can focus on that business proposal. So now, rather than reacting to everything that comes at me throughout the day, I would dedicate 1 to 2 hours in the morning to batch time-consuming tasks together, such as emails, scheduling meetings, returning calls. Then I put my phone and laptop on Do Not Disturb mode, and I focus on doing my deep work for a few hours with no distractions until lunchtime. If I have deadlines the next day, I would try to do another few hours of deep work in the afternoon to get things done. And I would close my day by attending to urgent emails and calls, if there are any. This approach has saved me hours of time and increased my productivity, which in turn allowed me to have more personal time. 2. 3 no's at work. First, start by reclaiming your weekends, because this is a reasonable request by many corporate standards. Give your team and client a heads up and refrain from taking calls or responding to emails unless there is actually a crisis about life and death. I would suggest doing this cold turkey to send a clear message to your clients and your colleagues. It is going to be a shock for them, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Second, take control of your business trip schedules. Rather than saying yes to every travel request, ask smart questions and only go on business trips where your presence is absolutely necessary and where you can add significant value. If someone else can cover for you, or if you can attend meetings online, or if you have more important responsibilities at home base, communicate this to your team and reallocate resources. Your company, your boss, and your team will thank you because resources can be optimized for maximum output. For many careers, it is often unnecessary to go on business trips more than 50% of your time every month, unless you're starting your own business. This is especially true nowadays when many things can be done online. After you have reclaimed your weekends and taken charge of your flying schedules, start turning off work notifications after work hours on weekdays. Of course, this depends on your industry and job nature, so work out a time that works best for you and stick to it. These 3 tips are foundational for me only, and they don't have to happen in this sequence, and some may not apply to you. That said, an occasional spike in workload is normal across all different industries, and it is fine as long as you feel okay with it. Just be mindful to prioritize self-care. 3. Designate a no-work zone. With many of us having the flexibility to work from home, specify an area where work is strictly off-limit. It could be your bedroom, living room, dining room, or just a dedicated space. This physical boundary helps create a clear separation between work and personal life, allowing you to fully unwind, recharge, and achieve a better work-life balance. For me, it is usually the living room because I would like it to be a space where I rest and relax with my loved ones and my dog. Living room is also a public space, so it's not an ideal place for work because there's usually a lot of people movement. Having my living room as my no-work zone also helps me to keep the area free of work clutter. For tips on how to do a home makeover or small home improvement, check out this video for some easy but practical ideas that are also eco-friendly. 4. Embrace workation. Consider combining work and vacation for a workation. Workations allow you to enjoy the benefits of travel and spending time with your loved ones while still fulfilling your work responsibilities. This requires an open mind from you and your employer and requires advanced planning, but it is feasible and practical. Take a workation by working remotely from a location that you have always wanted to visit or where your next family summer trip will take place. For example, if you are going to have a 2-week family vacation, plan your workation by blocking specific times during your holiday to stay on top of your work, such as dedicating 1 to 2 hours of your time every morning to batch email browsing time, online meetings, and calls. For me, I usually like to block 1 to 2 hours in the late afternoon and just before dinner to do this, because that's the time when I'm back in the hotel or Airbnb after spending quality time with my loved ones. So while they relax and get ready for dinner, I will dedicate that time to do a little work. If needed, you can arrange some deep work sessions based on whatever works best in your schedule to focus on high-level brain work. This has worked very well for me so far, and I feel a lot more in control about being away from the office. If you want to do a solo trip for 3 weeks in another environment or visit your parents in another state or country, you can consider a workation. Just be sure to set boundaries and allocate your sacred personal or family time during your vacation for yourself and your loved ones. 5. Implement weekly work-life integration. Rather than striving for a perfect daily balance between work and personal life, consider work-life integration on a weekly or monthly basis, which is more practical because it gives you more flexibility. Many businesses have embraced this approach, which involves finding ways for staff to incorporate personal activities into their work routine and vice versa. It's about finding harmony that allows you to meet both personal and professional commitments. I like to plan on a weekly basis and shuffle around my work and other responsibilities to find a good balance. If I have to leave early on a weekday to volunteer at my kids' school, I would make up for the lost time within the same week. I also like to do a monthly plan, especially if there are public holidays or long weekends, so my work doesn't get backlogged. 6. Incorporate reset days. Designate specific days in your monthly calendar as reset days where you focus solely on self-care and rejuvenation. I never thought this was important in my younger years and ended up burning out. Some people can afford to do this every weekend, while others with busier schedules and more responsibilities, such as a working parent, might only be able to afford to do this once every 2 weeks or even once a month. Just make sure to block off 1 day or half a day per week, ideally. Use this self-care time wisely to engage in activities that bring you joy, whether it is pursuing hobbies, going to the spa, or simply reading a book. By constantly scheduling these reset days, you prioritize your well-being and can prevent burnout. 7. Take micro breaks. Incorporate regular short breaks throughout your workday starting tomorrow. Take a walk outside around the block. Take a 30-minute power nap, banter with your colleagues, or engage in a small meditation session. I never realized the importance of these micro breaks and would often go on very long stretches of time working to do everything in hopes that I could finish the day earlier and have more personal time. Because I actually needed some breaks during my day. Factor in these micro breaks to help refresh your mind. It is like snacking on an energy bar when you go on long hikes. Take advantage of them. 8. Pick your battles and delegate. Once I learned to prioritize the important battles first and delegate tasks in exchange for more time for myself, everything changed. The key to delegation is to try your best to match team members' talents with the task. And if your team members don't have the relevant experiences yet, invest efforts to develop them now for a win-win situation down the road. During the training process, you can also get to know your team members better and identify their individual strengths. For projects that are far-reaching or have lower risks, delegate it to the rising star of your team and let him or her lead it because your loss can be capped. It can also be a good capability test for this team member. You are not a superhero and you cannot and don't need to execute and oversee every single step in all your projects. Ask for help, leverage your team member's strengths, and relax a little. Remember that finding the right work-life balance is a continuous journey that requires self-reflection, experimentation, and sustained effort. The key is to work smart, prioritize self-care, set boundaries, and find effective strategies to leverage teamwork. Until next time, stay balanced, my friends. Bye!